Okay, so how can I tell if my parasites are working? How can I tell if they're doing a good job? See, here's the problem. See, some website providers hate parasites. They're going to be quick to tell you that you don't need parasites. Why? Because they want you to buy everything from them. They're going to tell you that your parasites are chasing away visitors, yada, 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 okay? If you want to know if your parasites are working, you measure. You look at leads, you look at sales, you look at cost per lead, you look at cost per sale, and you look at the cannibalization rate by adding one parasite and measuring, adding another parasite and measuring. And you measure over time, and you take a look at it, and you keep the working parasites. All right, so we know about parasites, we know about leads. Where should these things be? Where should our calls to action be? Where should our parasites be on our site? What are the good locations? See, where you place your message, where you place your parasite, where you place your forms or your calls to action can actually affect whether or not they're successful at converting. So when we look at where we should place these things, here's a quick checklist. You need to make sure that you've got your conversion forms on your home page, that you've got conversion links in your menus, that they're on your search results pages and your vehicle detail pages. You need to have them on your specials pages. You need to make sure that those convert. You need to have them on your department pages. You need to treat your website as if I'm a first-time visitor to your site. Now, you may have heard this saying before, the best place to hide a body is page 2 of Google, right? The same is true for areas of your website. So think about this. When we talk about the basic rules of conversion, let's look at rule number 1, which is to stay above the fold. That is the basic rule of conversion. Rule number 1 is to stay above the fold. I'm going to explain what that is to you in a second. And sorry that I'm jumping around over here. We're trying to work with one clicker. So this is a newspaper. Some of you may not have seen one of these before. This is actually a business journal, but I want to make sure you understand what I'm talking below the fold. This comes from newspapers. When we say stay above the fold on your website, it means everything people can see without having to scroll, because the stuff up here gets viewed more than the stuff down here. It was true for newspapers. It's true for your website. So a company called Nielsen Norman Group, they did a study, okay? And they found that users spent 80.3% of their time above the fold and only 19.7% below the fold. See, people have a limited attention span for long pages. Scrolling is fine, but there are some really cool sites out there that don't make it crystal clear that your page promotes scrolling. So if you're going to require some scrolling on a page, especially a vehicle detail page, right, you've got to have some scrolling. You want to make sure that it's crystal clear that I can scroll, right? So you're going to make sure that I can see right on the right side of the page where I can scroll from. And you never want to have horizontal scrolling. Believe it or not, some people still do, because only about 1% are ever going to see anything that doesn't show up on the first screen. The second basic rule of conversion is location, left to right. Think about that, left then right. Am I doing that the right way? Left then right, there we go. See, people spend more of their time looking at information on the left side of the page than they do on the right side of the page, generally speaking. In fact, that Nielsen Norman Group found that 69% of the time that people spend on a website is spent on the left side, and only about 30% on the right side of a page.